Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to my channel. Today, I want to do something different. I want to talk about something that I have been sensing lately from so many people who are spiritually awakened and on a path of ascension. And that is something I like to call Ascension Burnout. So, if you've been feeling exhausted, disconnected, or just totally overwhelmed by the constant chaos of global change while trying to maintain your own personal path of ascension and evolution, please know that you are not alone. I've been seeing this happening everywhere. I mean, when you think about the past 4 years, we have been through unprecedented challenges for humanity. First, we went through this bizarre global pandemic that completely changed how we connect with each other. I mean, we had economic instability everywhere, political upheaval to the max, and basically intense polarization between humans all over the planet. And then we also had profound shifts in terms of how we live, how we work, and how we relate to each other. And that, my friends, is a lot of personal and collective trauma. So just take a look at that for a moment. And then think about this. While all of this chaos and change is happening, we are trying to navigate these very powerful, profound energies of ascension. All of it has been accelerating. So it's really a lot. I mean, it's a lot for all of us. So today, I just want to pause from all of that and create a space where we can acknowledge this collective exhaustion that so many of us are experiencing. And more importantly, I want to explore some practical ways that you can restore your center, reclaim your energy, and realign with your cosmic path and purpose. So let's take a moment right now. Just take a deep breath. I want you to give yourself a moment. Give yourself permission to pause and acknowledge your possible fatigue. Next, I want you to take a moment to honor your unique human journey. Now, I want to share with you some guidance on how to heal and renew yourself so that you can move forward again with renewed clarity, purpose, and confidence. Here's the thing. We're not actually burned out on ascension. What we're really burned out on is the continuous barrage of insanity that we are being exposed to here on Earth while we are just sincerely trying to evolve in a beautiful way. So what exactly is ascension burnout? Unlike the more conventional forms of burnout that primarily drain our mental and physical faculties, ascension burnout also impacts us on energetic, emotional, and spiritual levels as well. It goes much deeper. I mean, it literally touches the very essence of who we are and why we're here. See, when we commit to a path of conscious evolution and spiritual awakening, we become much more sensitive to energy, our own energy, other people's energy, and the larger collective field of human energy overall. We perceive more, we feel more, and we process more. Now, all of this awareness is beautiful, but it's a lot to deal with during these times of global turmoil when what we really want to experience is a positive journey forward. Now, you might be experiencing ascension burnout if you are feeling persistently tired no matter how much you rest, or if the spiritual practices that once brought you joy now feel more like obligations. Perhaps you're even avoiding meditation because it just feels overwhelming and like one more thing you have to do. You might notice that you're feeling an increasing cynicism about humanity's future. Another odd experience that a lot of people feel is it's almost like feeling like you're stuck between two worlds. It's like you're too awakened to go back to normal life, but you're also too exhausted to move forward. What's happening is that your energy system is not just processing your personal challenges. You're probably also absorbing and transmuting collective energies too. And see, the more empathic and open-hearted you are, the more you could be feeling the weight of this. So here's what is critical for you to understand. Experiencing ascension burnout does not mean that you are failing on your journey here on Earth. It can actually mean the opposite. It could also be a sign that you are doing a lot of inner work and holding the space for your own transformation. And all of that inner work and awakening can cause you to remain sensitive in a world like this that generally encourages numbness. So what you're experiencing is actually the natural response of a system that's processing immense amounts of energy, collective and otherwise, without adequate support. So I want to help you understand that whatever you are experiencing is not just about you and your personal situation. So let's talk about why the past 4 years have been particularly challenging for those of us on an ascension path. First, there has been the absolute heaviness and density of world events. I mean, the pandemic alone created a global energy field of fear, of grief, of uncertainty that we all felt. Do you remember those early days in the pandemic when everything felt completely surreal and heavy? And let's add to that the economic pressures that so many people have faced. And then we have the unrelenting political and cultural divisions that just continue to deepen. I mean, think about it. We have been navigating multiple overlapping crises all at once for over 4 years. Plus, we are continuously dealing with a massive amount of lying and gaslighting from the powers that be and the media. So that's on one side of the equation. And then at the same time, we have also experienced what some might call a quickening. We have been experiencing a massive acceleration of light that is pushing everything to the surface that was previously hidden from view. Thus, what you could call personal and collective shadow energy is all surfacing faster than many people can process. Things that might have stayed buried in our subconscious for years, and in some cases even lifetimes, are coming up for healing all at once. And this is the powerful energy that is behind our current evolutionary trajectory. And as if that's not enough, the very structure of our society has also transformed. How we work, how we connect with each other, and how we live has also changed dramatically. This has all been in 4 years. And all of this change requires constant adaptation. You see why we might all be so tired? I'm sharing all of this with you guys because I want you to understand that how you might be feeling and the struggles you might be experiencing from within yourself have a very good explanation. And it may not be that it's just you. And then a lot of us have actually had to reimagine our lives completely. Maybe it's a new career, or maybe it's finding other ways, new ways to relate to people in your life. Maybe you've had to discover completely new priorities. I mean, that alone would be incredibly challenging. But when you couple that with everything else, it's really quite overwhelming. Now, for those of us who are consciously engaged with ascension at a cosmic level, you've also been experiencing timeline shifts and the accompanying continuous recalibrations of your energy field as all those timelines keep shifting. You could be experiencing literal DNA activations. You might also be experiencing unexpected connections with the quantum field. These are all very demanding processes that require a substantial amount of energy. See, what we've been going through is a very unique period. We have been living through the convergence of chaos in the physical world with our spiritual accelerated evolution and ascension. Here's a sample of what that's like. It's like being asked to maintain your center in a hurricane or a tornado while simultaneously evolving at an unprecedented speed. And this is why I think so many of us are feeling depleted on so many levels. So this is what we're here to understand, adjust, and correct. Because, we can talk forever about everything going on in the world and what it means to our human evolution, but I really think we're at a moment in time where we just need to pause and address these issues from within ourselves. Now, before we talk about solutions, let's talk about some clear signs that your entire system is calling out for restoration. I'm going to share with you 7 areas where you might be experiencing these signs. And you also might find yourself vacillating between them. So number 1, let's start by talking about your energy. You might notice energy depletion that persists despite the fact that you're getting adequate sleep and engaging in self-care. I have definitely felt that myself. This kind of fatigue feels different. It's somehow deeper. It's as if your very soul is tired. Perhaps you're even feeling overwhelmed by the same spiritual practices that used to energize you. Number 2, a lot of people might be feeling a level of emotional numbing that alternates with a heightened sense of reactivity. It's like either feeling nothing at all or feeling everything too intensely. You might even feel like your access to higher guidance or to your intuition feels blocked when maybe in the past it actually felt easier. Number 3, for some people, certain physical symptoms might show up without any definable cause. Things like headaches or digestive issues or unexplained pain. And this is where I think people can start to label such physical symptoms as ascension symptoms. Here's the thing, your body has certain channels of communication. Channels like intuition or direct knowing or just absolute sensing of your overall condition. But when those communication channels are overwhelmed due to everything we've been talking about so far, your body is just going to be speaking the base language of energy and frequency. And that could be confusing because it just comes across as sensations and feelings and unexplained feelings in your whole physical body. That could be just your body signaling to you, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overloaded, I cannot process any more. Number 4, and here's another strange thing that you might experience. Some people might feel as though they're caught between 2 different dimensions. They're not fully here in a 3D reality, but at the same time, they don't feel quite able to access the frequencies of a higher dimension, or what some might call 5D. So it's kind of a feeling of being caught between the 2 worlds in a way. And I guess the best way to describe it is that it's like a feeling of being untethered and not completely grounded. Number 5, a profound loss of purpose and direction is also common. Your mission that once felt so clear might now seem kind of distant and maybe even irrelevant. Now, here's what might be causing that. There's something that some call compassion fatigue. That's a state where you feel unable to care anymore about world events and all of the people that are going through all of the things because you've already processed so much collective emotion. You just don't feel like you have the energetic wherewithal anymore to feel any passion or inspiration about your purpose. Number 6, many people might find themselves starting to question everything that they once believed with absolute certainty. Your core spiritual beliefs might suddenly feel hollow or insufficient to explain what you're experiencing. And finally, number 7, perhaps the most painful experience is this. Sometimes in the midst of all these challenges, you might begin to feel isolated. You could find yourself wanting to withdraw from whatever spiritual community or any community that you used to value right at the time when you need human connection the most. See, the paradox of Ascension Burnout is that it can actually cause us to separate from the people we truly care about when we really need that connection the most. Now, if any of these signs resonate for you, it probably means that your soul is asking for a period of restoration. And that doesn't mean that you're regressing. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It is simply a necessary phase of integration and renewal that is part of a natural ascension process, especially when you're ascending from a planet that is as difficult as this one is. Also remember that human evolution is not necessarily linear. It moves in cycles, in spirals, and sometimes requires periods of stillness in order for the deepest transformation to occur. I think that's why the metamorphosis of a caterpillar into a butterfly is really so profound and appropriate. See, the caterpillar, in a sense, is transcending into becoming a butterfly. The caterpillar doesn't go through life fighting to become the butterfly. I have to work so hard and I'm so tired and all of this, right? It follows a natural cycle, which includes a period of stillness inside the cocoon. And all of that work is happening as its cells are transmuting into those of a butterfly. And then when it's time, it emerges. So you could sort of look at this in a very similar way. If you imagine the caterpillar, it has an internal system of intelligence that is signaling to it when it is time to go into the cocoon. We humans who are on an ascension path also have natural signals coming from our deeper level of intelligence that are letting us know via all the things I just shared with you that it's time to step away for a moment, assess our situation, and begin a very necessary process of restoration. Okay, so let's talk about some practical approaches to heal this form of cosmic burnout, and thus help you to restore your inner center and positive sense of self. So I want to share with you some practices that work on multiple levels. That's because ascension burnout affects us holistically. Therefore, we need to address it holistically too. First, let's talk about energy cleansing. When you're sensitive to energy, you naturally absorb what's around you. From people, from the news media, from social media, and the larger collective human field that we are all in. And this basically happens all day long. It's kind of like if you were walking through a really kind of dirty or dusty room, and all that dust is sort of accumulating on you all day. It would be like having this dust build up on your body and never taking a shower. That's what happens if you don't clear your energy. So I think it's really important to clear your energy daily. One of the best and simplest ways to do this is to take a shower before you go to sleep at night. Water is one of the best energy clearing methods there is. You will actually find that you sleep better because you won't be carrying whatever energy you picked up during the day and taking it with you into your sleep state. And then you can sleep peacefully. Now, here's something really cool you can do if you work with Archangel Michael. You can ask him to cut any psychic energy cords that connect you to people, places, or situations that have an energy that you don't want to carry with you. And that's the great thing about the angels. Whenever you ask them for help, they are very responsive. Now, another simple way to clear your energy is to use your breath. If you know any breath work techniques, you can use those. But let me share with you a very simple way that you can do this. You can take a deep breath in, inhaling light, And then when you exhale, let that light transmute any energy that you do not want and release it. I mean, there are so many creative ways to clear your energy. You can even actually make some up if you want to. Next, let's talk about meditation. Now, if you are truly burned out on a soul level, the very idea of meditation might feel fruitless, and it might even feel overwhelming. If that's the case, there are other things that you can do temporarily as a substitute for a more formal form of meditation. You can try some simple breath work to reconnect with yourself. Sometimes just walking or sitting in nature without any agenda other than to just be there and relax and just notice the world around you, that alone can be deeply restorative. And did you know that you can even do a simple sound healing on yourself? Sometimes just humming to yourself will actually create vibrations that harmonize your energy field. So that could be a fun experiment to try. Now, one of my all-time favorite things to do is to indulge in some form of creative expression without any judgment. This is an amazing and beautiful practice. You can draw, you can write, you can move your body, you can sing, but do so without any expectation of a particular outcome. Just let it be very messy and real. No pressure. And then, of course, body-centered practices like some form of gentle yoga or Tai Chi can help you bring your awareness back into your physical body in a very loving and very restorative way. Here's the key in all of this. The key is to find practices that are nourishing rather than depleting. Your deep inner connection to yourself shouldn't feel like another obligation on your to-do list. So here's what you can do. Just ask yourself this simple question daily. What would feel like coming home to myself today? And then honor that answer, even if it changes from one day to the next. Now let's talk about your consumption of information and energy. We need to be ruthlessly selective about what we consume during times of ascension burnout. Consider limiting the news to once daily at the most. You want to be able to get what you need to know to stay informed, but you don't want to be drowning yourself in the collective field of fear. And try to partake of social media content that uplifts and inspires you rather than depletes you or cause you to feel anxious. You can even try a weekly media fast, which can be incredibly restorative. Here's a really cool thing. Just 24 hours abstaining from the news and social media altogether can completely reset and restore your system. Now, you also want to be mindful about the energy of the people that you spend time with. I'm not necessarily suggesting that you cut people off, but you can consider setting some loving boundaries around how much time you spend with individuals who drain your energy. You can even practice certain visualization techniques before, during, and after any interactions. For example, you could go into a difficult situation and just put a bubble of light around yourself. And then after an interaction, you can imagine a stream of light pouring through you and just clearing out all of the energy of that exchange. We can use our creativity in this way because we are creators after all. Now, one of the most important things for anyone experiencing ascension burnout is to get grounded in your body. A lot of times, especially people who are very spiritually oriented, we can spend way too much time in our upper chakras and not enough time in our lower chakras. But we want to be equally present throughout in order to exist in perfect balance and feel grounded and centered. So you want to prioritize some form of physical movement that brings joy. You don't want to look at exercise as being like a punishment, but instead think of movement as feeling like a celebration of being in your body. You want to eat nourishing foods that increase your life force energy. Focus on what makes you feel vital instead of thinking you have to follow a bunch of rigid rules. Probably a lot of you guys know what earthing is. Earthing is when you go outside and you put your bare feet on the earth, on the grass, on soil, on sand, not on concrete. It has to be directly on the earth. Because when your feet have direct contact with the earth, think of it, the earth is a very powerful life form that gives birth to all of us. And that creates a beautiful energy exchange between your physical body and the planet itself. So just walking around in the grass outside for 10 or 15 minutes a day, whenever you can, is an absolutely glorious feeling. See, the essence of everything I'm sharing with you is about just clearing all of that excess energy that you just can't process anymore, clearing all of that out, and then restoring your presence in your physical body. Restoring your presence so that you can enjoy life again, feel like yourself again, and be energized. Another way you can do this is you can engage all of your 5 senses in some very simple experiences. Things that are available to you in nature. Like, for example, this time of year, you could think about the taste of fresh strawberries, or the beautiful fragrance of a spring rain, or just feeling some nice fabric against your skin, or being just present with ordinary tasks. Allow your senses to come back to life again. Here's a really simple trick that you can try when the world feels truly overwhelming. The human realm is just completely overwhelming. If you live in a place where you can just go outside at night and just gaze at the stars, it puts things in perspective. It reminds you that we are in a physical universe. You know, one of the things I loved when we were living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, I absolutely loved if I would happen to wake up at night, say at 3 or 3:30 in the morning, right around that time, I would get up and go to the window and look outside. And there was such an incredible magic at that time because that's a higher altitude and there are no city lights, so you can see the moon is just pristine and beautiful and clear, and the stars are like diamonds. And there was such a feeling at that time. I don't know what it is about 3 or 3:30, but it was absolutely amazing, just the feeling of life at that time of night. So you see, we are surrounded by a lot of ways that we can just come back to who we are again. And the other thing you want to always remember is to ask for support from your angels and guides. That's why they're there, to help. And the whole point in asking for their support is so that you yourself can remember your cosmic purpose in being alive. And finally, never underestimate the value of community and support. Find people who understand this ascension journey without judgment, even if it's just one trusted friend. And by the way, if you want to join an amazing community of like-minded people, I have one to offer you. It's my Cosmic Journey membership that I will be reopening the doors to new members sometime in June. If you want to know the details about what that's like, you can get on my waiting list. You'll get all the information about what it is, how it works, everything you need to know. And I'll put the link in the description below, and you can just sign up on the waiting list, and then you will be the first to know when I reopen the doors. Okay, now let's talk about reframing your purpose. Now, as you begin to restore your energy and restore your clarity, it's important to re-examine how you understand your higher purpose during these transformative times. Many of us came into this lifetime with specific missions related to Earth's ascension and evolution. But the form that that mission takes may need to evolve as circumstances change. And you know, sometimes the best thing to do while you are figuring things out is to simply try and maintain your frequency, your equilibrium during these incredibly challenging times. Now, let me offer you a perspective shift that might help. It's really important to remember this, that how we are being the nature and the energy of our beingness, is actually sometimes even more important than what we are doing. See, here's the thing. Your presence, your energy, and your frequency are the most important contributions into this world. Your consciousness itself affects the collective human field. The light that you hold, even in your most private moments, radiates outwards and has impact on the planet itself in ways that can't be measured. So here's a great way to look at your life's purpose. There are natural cycles of service in the same way that there are seasons in nature. All of the seasons in nature have a yin and a yang. For example, we could say that fall and winter are more of a yin energy, where the energy is drawn within, where spring and summer are more of a yang energy, where the energy is starting to express itself outwards. So we want to also honor for ourselves that there are times for visible and external service, and also times for inner work and restoration. It's just like our breath, the same thing. We exhale and we inhale. So our life purpose is very much the same way. We have those inner times of restoration and inner work, and then that expresses itself outward at a higher frequency and a higher level of being. And that is how we evolve. And you also want to trust in divine timing, especially when things feel delayed or they feel stuck. Because sometimes those are the periods where the deepest transformations are occurring just beneath the surface. A similar thing would be the way that seeds germinate deep inside the dark soil before they start to push out towards the light. Sometimes it's good to redefine what success looks like on the ascension path. Success isn't always measured by constant activity or visible achievements. It's actually measured by things like balance, by alignment, by authenticity, and by presence. See, the quality of your being actually matters more than trying to push through a whole lot of doingness. So here's a question to ask yourself. How would my approach to my ascension path change if I knew that my value was not tied just to constant action and visible service? Sometimes it's more important to care for your soul and to heal and restore your being as we move forward in this very intense world of ours. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is to just give yourself the love and acceptance that this is an understandably difficult path on this planet. And it's okay to stop for a period of rest and restoration. That is completely normal. So let me conclude with this. Ascension burnout is not a failure. It's a natural response to the immense energies that we are processing personally and collectively. So when you honor this experience and implement your favorite restoration practices, then you can refresh your understanding of your purpose as an evolving creator. And consider something else. Whenever you hear people talk about ascension symptoms, a lot of times those are actually symptoms of the kind of burnout that I've been talking about. And you are beautifully equipped to help yourself when you understand what is happening. See, you are never burned out from actual ascension. You are burned out from trying to evolve under very difficult circumstances. It is completely natural to sometimes feel overwhelmed or spiritually burned out in a world that is this intense. So give yourself some grace and don't be hard on yourself. You have the capacity to restore your consciousness and energy when you accept and love yourself exactly as you are. So share with me in the comments if you have been experiencing this type of burnout. I would love to know your experience. And remember to sign up on my Cosmic Journey waitlist if that's something that you want to know more about. So if this video resonated for you, please give it a thumbs up and share it out with anyone else who you feel would benefit from this message. And be sure to subscribe so that you can get more of my content on navigating your ascension journey with clarity, with confidence, and with grace. And with that, I'm sending you so much love, light, and high vibrational energy. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Namaste.